Hello everyone, I am Andy Klepner with Automated Marketer. In today's video, I'll be giving you an overview of the funnel builder inside of GoHighLevel. And to make things even more exciting, we're also going to be reviewing 3 essential funnels that every business should have in their arsenal. Let's get started. I'm inside of GoHighLevel. What I've done to get to where I am, which is where all the funnels are being built, is to go into the sites on the left-hand side and then go to the first tab, which is funnels. Inside, I've already pre-built a couple funnels, but the main one I want to go over is the lead magnet funnel. So I'm going to click right into that. The lead magnet funnel consists of 2 different pages, the squeeze page and the thank you page. The squeeze page is where we advertise what we're going to be giving away as a free item, something to collect leads with, which will eventually turn out to be sales. And then the thank you page is pretty obvious. It's after they've received the thing or filled out the form to receive the thing that they're interested in getting. It's the thank you page that will lead them to the next part of their journey inside of your content. Whether that's going to be Facebook support, maybe your YouTube channel, or any number of things. So the first thing I'm going to go into is the squeeze page. All I got to do is either click edit here, or the way I prefer to do it is edit in a new tab. Once you're inside the editor, there's a couple things that I'd like to point out to you right off the bat. Some very basic overview. First of all is the handy arrow to get out of the funnel. After that, we have 2 buttons, and that's to show it in desktop format and then inside of mobile format. We'll be going over both of them. After that is the settings. In the settings, we have the SEO metadata, tracking code, custom CSS, background, and topography. After that, we're going to have the pop-up. Now, the pop-up is where we're going to be putting our form to collect the email data. We're going to have the undo and then redo buttons, and then preview the custom HTML. So on this one, if we have custom HTML on the page, it's going to show us exactly what it looks like when it's live. And you can get that just by clicking this or not. After that, we have all the sections broken out, so we can easily jump around to all the different sections by either adding a section or managing the section, and you can kind of see we're just moving around just like that. And inside every section are rows. And in this one, it manages the rows. And those rows are in blue. And I forgot to mention the sections are in green. So the sections are in green, as we can see, and the rows are in blue. And as you can see by me going back and forth, I've got 3 rows inside of this larger section. And then after that, we have columns. Everything has a column because it's basically we're working within boxes. And in those columns, sometimes we have 1 column. You got to at least have the 1 column for the row, or something like 2 columns. And we can have any number of columns that we want inside of that row. And then we can take those columns and we can also clone them to build things a lot easier. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. And then after that, the all-important elements. Now, the elements are all the different things that you can add to your funnel. That could be your headline, your sub-headline, paragraph, bullet list, button, adding a form, your blog post list, videos, images, FAQs, custom HTML, survey, calendar, map, SVG, reviews, countdown, minute timer, day timer, and your navigation menu, divider, progress bar, image feature, 2-step order form, 1-step order form, and then of course your order confirmation. And those are all the different things that you can add to a page, which doesn't seem like a lot, but there's a lot of different ways we can slice and dice this to make it work within our funnel. After that, we have our versions, so we can see the past of the way we've built out the funnel. We can always roll back and roll forward in case we made a mistake as we were building it. We just want to go back in the past. We have the preview to see what it looks like live. If you click it, it's just going to open up another window and show you what the live funnel actually looks like. And then save, and then this little box that allows us to go in between each page and edit them. That gives you an overview of the top bar. On the left bar, for everything that we're inside of, this is the left bar right here, it gives us where we can add our settings and do all the different settings that we need for either the images or the copy or any number of things. This has a general and advanced, and on certain ones we have a 3rd tab, and I'll show you that 3rd tab as we go through it. So let's first look at our most basic thing, which is text. Now, right now I'm looking at a sub-headline. This can be typed in any way that you want to. We can just put any word like that and it'll work. And with these words, we can do a bunch of different things. We can choose whether they're bold or italicized, a strike through, an underline. We can make something a link. We can either make it a paragraph or a type of headline. All these settings work the same, whether it's a headline element, a subheadline element, or a paragraph element. And as we look over here on the left-hand side, it kind of gives you a better idea of what you can do with it. You can add a background. You can change the opacity. So you can fade something out if you wanted to, didn't want to have it so bright. You could have a text shadow on just about anything. So you can add a little bit more, something very light, something very strong. As you can see, it's getting stronger. There's a little bit of a deeper shadow there. And then you can also change the letter spacing. And you can really have a lot of fun and make it do a bunch of different things. You can justify it, add a box shadow to the whole area, change the font, whether you're on mobile or desktop. Change the typography type, it's a headline, it's content, or you could even have a custom font. Now that custom font is very cool because you can use just about every Google font that's out there. So literally all you gotta do is look it up online, Google Fonts, find something that you like, and it's gonna work immediately. As you can see, I just changed that information there to a different Google font because I chose to use a custom font. We can also add icons. So if we wanted to, we can search for an icon, something like an apple, and we're gonna have an apple pop up, and that can go right in front of that. So we could have anything that our hearts desire. Something that could be really exciting is having your headlines with all different kinds of emojis and so forth. We can also change the different colors that the text works with. Either the color of the plain text, whether it's bold, italic, underline, link, or we can also change the color of the icon that we're working with. And then lastly is the spacing options. Now the spacing options are very important. We can use that to really adjust the depth of everything that's inside of our elements. So this doesn't just work for the text elements, this works for just about every other element in there. So we can add more space to the padding, either top or bottom, left or right, or we can do the margin. And that way we can have some really exciting designs through that. Now, the next one I'm going to go over is the image. Now, the image is very cool. The image we can use for a lot of stuff, and probably one that's going to be very, very important for you. Again, we have the different spacing that we can do. We can add a background for that image in case it's an image without a background if it's transparent. As you can see, mine is transparent, so I can change the color behind it, or I could have nothing at all, of course. I can change the opacity of the image if I did want as dark or light, the alignment, and I can also change the width. So if I wanted to have it maybe smaller, I could just do something like 200 pixels and it could be really tiny. I can have it at full blast, or I can adjust it to however big I want it based on the dimension of the column that I'm in. So as you can see, if I have nothing in here, it's as big as it can get. And if I adjust the width of the column, I can really have a lot of fun with the different size, and I can adjust it that way. Now on the image, I can also adjust the height. I can also add the alternative text, and I can make an action happen based on the image. So if I had a button that I made with a program like Canva or something like that, and I want a special thing, I could use that as a button also. Kind of like click this image to get a certain gift or anything like that. And we can use that and go to a pop-up or do a URL. On the right-hand side, I have more copy here, and I'm actually using an icon to make my arrows go down. Now, under here, I have probably one of the more important things is the button. And the button is the thing that makes the action. And the different things that we can do with the button are very similar to all we can do with the text. Now we can add text to the button, but then we can also add some subtext, and it just goes below it. So this is just some subtext. And as you can see, it gives a little bit more information if we need it down there. Now that button, we can have it do any number of things. And here are the choices that you have for those button actions. Either to open a pop-up, go to a website URL, you can hide an element, you can scroll to an element, you can step to the next step that's inside of your funnel. You can do an upsell, downsell. Now that's more for the sales funnel part of it. You can do a call, you can do an SMS message, an email, or go to a membership. In this case, we're gonna do an open pop-up. So since we have it marked as a pop-up, what we're gonna do is open up the pop-up. We now have to add stuff to it. So the first thing we're gonna do is add a row. And we're gonna choose this to be a 1-column row. We're gonna put in a headline. And in that headline, we're going to say something like, fill out the form to receive your free gift. Now, I am not a fan of having a single word at the bottom. It doesn't look very professional. So I'm going to adjust the size of the desktop font. And I'm going to change it to work just a little better. But I also should be doing the mobile one because we also got to make sure it works on a phone. And I'm going to have these be a little different in size if you're on a cell phone or if you're on a desktop. So I've done all that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this little plus sign here, and I'm going to add a form. So I scroll down, I click on the form element, and I drag it right in. And now I have to choose the form from all the ones that I've previously made in the form section. Now, this form is going to be very simple. I have first name, last name, and phone number. Now, of course, I want to add the email address to this. I realize that it's not there. So in order to do that, all I got to do is come out of here, save it, hit my back button, go to Form Builder, go to the lead magnet number 1, because that's the one I created, and then just drag over the email. And, I'm going to make the phone number not required because sometimes people don't like to give that up. I want to at least get their email address at minimum. All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to save the form and I'm going to go back to my funnel. I'm going to go back to the lead magnet. I'm going to edit this again. And as you see, when I went to pop up, the email is now there. It's self-corrected itself. I don't need to re-add it or anything like that. It's just automatically done. Now, with this form, I have to say, what do I want to happen after a person fills out the form, right? So I scroll down here and there is a redirect action. Now, you can either go to a website URL, you can take them somewhere else, or you can go to the next step, which is what I am obviously going to do because I want to send them to the thank you page. So I'm going to click on go to next step and I'm going to click save. And now my pop-up is done. Now I want to do something a little extra here. So I'm going to go into my pop-up settings by clicking that blue button above. And I want to make sure that my pop-up shows when a person tries to exit if they haven't filled out the form yet. So this one's already been clicked over, but I can click it back and forth, as you can see. I've turned it on so that if a person tries to leave the page without filling out my form, at least the form is going to pop up and try to get them at one more shot. As you can see, that's done. Now, the settings for this are the standard that you can do with everything inside of it. It has a different color. You can change the background. You can have a different overlay color. You see this kind of grayed out. You could literally do anything that you want to make that happen. I'm going to leave it as that kind of grayed out look. Now, if I don't see a color that I like, I can also click on didn't find your color. You can add a custom color, but I'll show you that while I'm working a little bit more inside of the regular part of the funnel. So I'm going to close up this pop-up setting and I'm going to go back to my words here. I'm going to change it back, not to the custom font, but to the content font. Now, you may say, well, where do we set the content font? Well, that's where the settings section comes in handy. Inside the settings section, we have a couple different things in here. SEO metadata, tracking code, CSS, background, and topography. I'm actually going to go from the bottom and go to the top. So with the topography, I get to choose what my headline is going to be and what my content font is going to be. Now, right now, I have it set for both to be the same. But oftentimes you might want your content font to be different than your headline font. So what am I going to do? I'm going to click on this content font and I can either choose from some predefined ones or most recent ones that I've worked with, or I can again choose any font that I want within Google Fonts. I'm going to be using Open Sans, which is always available. And as you can see right in here, our content, and in this case, our headline changed. Now, the reason that changed is because I have it set to be the content font in the topography. If I want that to be the headline font, I just click it right there, and as you can see, it changed a little bit. Now, this wasn't as dramatic because they're both sans serif fonts, very basic open fonts, but as you can see, there is a little bit different. This is kind of close to Arial, and this is a much more wide and open, kind of flashier font. But I could have a lot of fun with this, and it'll just change things wholesale over the whole funnel. So if I go here and I go to Google Fonts and I choose something a little different, as you can see, this is still a sans serif. There we go. Maybe something a little different like that. I can keep having fun until I find something that I like. And there we go. That's more of a serif font. And it gives it something else to work with. And we can choose for our buttons also to have those different fonts and so forth. And then, of course, I'm going to save it because I'm starting to really like how this is turning out. Now, after I've done that with the settings, the next thing is the background. I can change the whole background to be an image or a different color for my whole funnel, as long as nothing else has a background to it. So everything can have a background to it. If I chose to make an image background on this column, I can do it. I can go to images. I can choose, like I have this random wedding image in there, and I can change the way that background works. I can have it be 100% width. I can have it be parallax, full central. I can make it repeat. I can make it repeat vertical. There's all these different choices for that. Now, this is starting to look really terrible. So I'm gonna hit my back button a couple times and make it into a, there we go. And then I'm gonna change the background color right here, and I'm gonna take that right back to white. Nice and clean, which is the way I like to build my funnels. Okay, after we've worked with the background, there's an area called custom CSS. Now, we're not gonna go over that right now, but one thing you gotta know is that everything in here can be tweaked, and everything has its own either class. Everything has its own class, every element, every column, every section. So you can have a lot of fun with the CSS. So if I choose something and I go to advanced, scroll at the bottom, we have the CSS selector. And that CSS selector can manipulate, if you know CSS, whatever item that you're working. And that's what you would use the CSS for. After that, we have our tracking code. You will, on occasion, want to be running ads, and you're going to need to put in tracking code for your funnel, either to show that it's a lead, or they scheduled an appointment, or even if they had a page view. And you would be putting that tracking code right here on either the header or the footer. After that, there's also the SEO metadata. Now, this is pretty important. Every page can be searched and should be ready for SEO. You can add the title, the description, the keywords, who is the author, and then the social media image for that funnel. So if I call this the lead magnet funnel and I have a little description, I can add an image like the one I have there. And as you can see, this is how it's going to appear on social media, something like Facebook or Twitter, something like that. And then I can update that metadata and then save my page. Now, to add another section or to add another row, all I got to do is either hit the green button, which would give me another section, and then add columns. I could do 4, 5, 6. But what's funny is, even if there's 6, in order, let's say for some reason I wanted to do 7, if I wanted to do like a line of logos or something like that, all I got to do is hit this clone button right here. Every one of these boxes, almost everything that's in here, has these special little buttons that allows us to move everything around. So for instance, with the clone, I can make this, now it's 7, I can do 8, I can do this out into infinity. And that's just going to clone the thing. Now I can use that to clone anything. There is the clone one right there. As you can see, I cloned the button. And the next important one is, of course, the garbage one. I can throw out what I'm working on if it's not working for the way I want the funnel to work. Also, we have the up and down. So we can change positions for things that are in there. So if you see, there are these arrows here. I can move things up and that force the other one down, or I can move it back down. Or if I just want to go to the settings for the item, I just click it there. And lastly, we have this little cross thing. Now the cross thing is cool because I can click it and I can drag it to wherever I want within the funnel. And as you can see, I'm just putting it right back. But we can have a lot of fun with this. And you can add different forms to the page, you can have videos to the page, and so forth. Very simple and a lot of fun to use. So now I'm going to click save, and I'm going to show a preview of what I've been working on. And here's the actual live page. Now, if I click on send me the amazing thing, there I go. My form pops up and I can fill it out. And I'm just going to put in some basic information here, a little fake name that we're going to use. Actually, let me just put in Mark Crawford, and we're just going to put in some random stuff right here. And grab my lead magnet is the button. Oh, and it already saw, because I had the incorrect amount of numbers in there, that I have an invalid phone number. So I'm going to just add another number in here and then click on grab my lead magnet. So it does have some intelligence. Now the next page is the thank you page. And the thank you page has a lot of the same elements. It has the title, it has the subtitle, I added an image, and then I also have these 3 buttons. Now, if I want to edit this page, I can always back out of it completely and just go to the thank you page here. Or from the funnel I've been working on, I can go to the top right-hand corner and click on this drop down, and it'll allow me to go to the thank you page. And now I can edit that thank you page. I can do all the same things that I did on the other one, and I can have a little bit more fun. So for instance, I can take the buttons and I can drop a shadow. Now the buttons are one of those ones that has 3 different tabs. The buttons has all these different themes that I can choose, or I can create my own. And on the 3rd one, which is the advanced, I can either make it the normal text transformation. So this is basic. I can make everything uppercase, lowercase. I can capitalize it like I originally had it. I can also make the width of it fluid, or I can completely fill out the area on my column. I'm going to go back to the fluid. I can then make a button effect, so I can make it glow. I can make it rock, so you can kind of see it moving around there a little bit. That's kind of a cool little effect, trying to get people's attention. I can make it bounce, elevate, and that only works when you're hovering on it, or I can make it wobble when I'm hovering over it. For now, I'm just going to make it rock back and forth. I really like that one because it's simple and very, very basic, just to get a person's attention. And then on top of that, I can add a little shadow to it, so there's a little bit of more depth. Or from that shadow, I can make it a far shadow or a blurry shadow, so it's kind of like a halo around it. Or no shadow, of course. Now, on every single one of these, we can choose whether to show it inside of a mobile or desktop view. All I gotta do to do that is I can go to mobile here and I can see how something is in mobile. Now let's just pretend for a moment that I didn't want this image for whatever reason when it's a mobile phone. I can change the visibility so that when it's a mobile phone, all I gotta do is shut it off and it's not there. But if I go back to desktop, as you can see, it's there. And it works every time. And I'm gonna hit save. And that is your basic overview of all the different things that are inside of the builder inside GoHighLevel. And that's a basic overview of all the different things that you can do inside the builder inside of HighLevel. Now, as we go through more funnels, you'll be learning about all the other elements. But here are the basics. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I was gonna review 3 different funnels that every business needs that are definitely essential. So the first one I want to go over is what we've been talking about, and that is a lead funnel. So what this client does is they drive traffic to this specific page to get people to download their lead magnet. And I'm going to show you this page just by clicking edit with this tab. Now, when you click on the tab, you're going to see that this has a little bit of different elements than what I was showing you before. I was able to add an image to the background over here. Right down here, you can see that the image link is here. And here is a video embedded right within the funnel, and then the form. And that form then goes to a thank you page right here. Now, this thank you page is a little different than the other ones that we were looking at. It has some more information on it. It gives people instructions now that they've downloaded their lead magnet on what they should do next. We have instructions here of what to do with the download, an affirmation letter. This thank you page is a little bit different than the other ones that you've been looking at. This thank you page is actually giving instructions based on what the lead magnet download was about. So it has different instructions depending on the type of person that's coming through the funnel. So as you can see, you can do many, many different things with a lead funnel. It doesn't just have to be a download and a thank you page. It can be a download, a thank you page with more instructions. You can even have Facebook group links, have them read one of your articles, any number of things. The next funnel I want to show you is a very simple booking funnel. The booking funnel is just a calendar and a thank you page. And if I open it up here as a preview, you'll see that a person just fills this out, and this was put in directly from the builder. And after they choose a time and hit continue, it actually has an internal form to get their scheduled information. This is already included right in GoHighLevel and is a lot like the other programs you've seen out there like Calendly. After that, they go to the thank you page, and that is a basic booking funnel. And then lastly is a services-based funnel. Now, the services-based funnel is very interesting because it allows this particular service provider who works with virtual assistants to have many different kinds of services all on one page. And then when you click on a button with an anchor link, it actually goes to what that specific service is. And as you can see, all the different services are on the page. So we have all the different services that they would have, a little intro about them, and then the different prices depending on the service that they're providing. And then after that, once you click on Let's Get Some Help, it actually goes to a booking calendar. And that booking calendar works with the rest of the flow. And that's a basic service funnel. So in this video, we went through all the different kinds of funnels and an overview of exactly how to use the GoHighLevel funnel builder. I hope you've enjoyed our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.